welcome to Artbeat. I'm Kevin.
And I'm Irene. This week, aside from his regular rock showcase, which will feature the band Susie Q, Kevin will also be introducing us to the fascinating world of glasswork, right?
That's right, but don't forget, we also have segments from Irene and from Dominque, who will bring us stories all about Act 3 and record producers.
I wasn't about to forget. In fact, Act 3 is going to introduce us to 3 very talented actors, and then we're going to go into an inside look of the recording industry with Mark Durand. So don't go away, because Kevin is up first, right after this. Welcome back. Kevin, I think you have something to tell us about glasswork.
That's right. Barry Gladen is a glass artist. Now what we did was we went down to his old Montreal studio where he showed us some of his works and he gave us a first-hand look at how he puts together some very simple glasswork. Now, what you may not realize when you see these works hanging in walls or in windows is that they don't just fall together. First there must be a design, then there must be cutting the glass, and then it must all be welded together. Now, each glass artist has his or her own style. Barry's just happens to be Oriental. But to sit here and try to explain it to you it just doesn't do it justice when it's hanging in museums and art shows. So why don't you stick around and take a look, because he not only is an artist, but he has a good sense of humor. Today I'm with Mr. Barry Gladen. Barry is a Montreal glass artist. And Barry, why don't you explain to us just what is glass art?
Well, basically what I'm doing is stained glass. It's traditionally called stained glass. I think that I depart from the norm in the way I applied the basic technique. Most people, I think, who are doing glass now have tended to approach glass without a background in any other art form, really. And I tend to approach glass as a designer first, and I sort of utilize the medium, I think, for my own aims and my own wants.
What sort of influences do you have when you're designing?
Oh gosh, a lot. As you notice, a lot of my work has a strong Oriental flavor, and that comes from, for me, I've had a 12-year association with predominantly Japanese society in Canada. I've studied Japanese martial arts for about 12 years now, and Chinese martial arts also. If you'd like, I'll show you the basic techniques involved in what stained glass is. First, I tend to start, most of my work comes out of design. I start first with a pattern. This is referred to in stained glass as a cartoon. This is one of the original black and white cartoons that I had done for this pattern here, which is now cut and ground. And there are a few finishing touches that'll have to go on, but before you get this far, I'll show the basic technique that we start with using a fairly simple pattern. On a light table, we do a lot of tracing. It's probably one of the most accurate ways to work with glass. You can work with stencils also, but tend to do a lot of tracing work. It's a lot faster. Okay. Piece is traced on, along with the rest of them.
Right.
And from here we go across the cutting table. You can buy goggles for this kind of work, but I tend to wear a full face mask because it protects more than just the eyes. This is a glass cutter. It uses a diamond wheel. You have to get that little gritty sound. That's what gives you the right kind of score on it. Once you get that sound, you know that the piece will break fairly easily. And you don't break down, you just pull. Pull it apart. It just comes apart in your fingers. Stop at that end. Okay, now the rest of the pieces we have over there, we'll just take it to the next process, which is to grind it. Take all the sharp edges off. Prepare it for foiling.
Fair enough. And I'll bring this with us.
Okay, let's come over here.
Okay. Here's your
All right, thank you.
mask.
This is a glass router.
Uh-huh.
And before I got this, all this work was done by hand. I had to grind everything down by hand.
Is this dangerous again?
Not too dangerous. It tends to throw a lot of work that way.
Even a little bit dangerous, and I'll back off.
All right. Basically, this is to, in some cases, this is to shape work
Uh-huh.
and to take the sharp edges off so that you don't cut yourself when you're foiling. So I just
I was going to ask you how often you cut yourself.
not as much as I used to. That's it. Simple as that. Okay, the next step is to work with copper foil. This is the technique that was devised by Tiffany. It's referred to sometimes as the jeweler's technique.
Uh-huh.
Let me just pick a piece here. So each piece of glass has to be completely wrapped with a foil of copper. And this will give the solder something to adhere to.
Right.
Okay.
And that sticks on fairly easily?
Yeah, it has an adhesive backing on it. At one time, when Tiffany worked, they didn't have an adhesive backing, so you had to sort of hold everything in place or tape it down. Okay. Press all these pieces in together.
Mm-hmm.
And you burnish it down, my handy burnishing tool. I think if this pen company knew that I were using it, they'd want royalties for this.
A multi-use pen.
That's it. Okay, so once all the pieces are wrapped, you assemble them. Okay, and the next process after that, I'll just switch some pieces around here slightly, ones that fit. Okay, the next process after this is to brush it all with a liquid flux,
Mm-hmm.
and then to solder it. Well, basically all you have to do now is finish the edges on this,
Uh-huh.
put the hook on. But you can see most of the seams on the front side are nicely rounded.
Yeah.
It's called floating. That's basically how it comes out. You clean it and stain it, either a dark black or
That
a
is,
copper
you
color.
stain the silver.
Yeah, you stain the silver. That's right. Or a lot of people just like to clean the silver and then they polish it with turtle wax and buff it up, and it brings up a nice shine to it.
Well, thanks very much, Barry, and all the best in the future. Well, there you have it. Now, one of the things you might have noticed is how painstaking some of that work can be. Another thing you might have noticed was the wide variety of styles and the many uses for the work. Another thing you might have noticed is how much of a chicken I am around a glass cutting table. But seriously, I'm sure no matter what it was about his work that you liked, there must have been something that stood out. For me, it was the safety goggles that he wore at the time. No matter what, though, I do hope that Barry does keep producing artwork like that for quite a while.
He had some really beautiful pieces there.
That's
quite
right.
nice. Thanks, Kevin. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back. Next, we're going to go from the artist in his workshop to the artist on stage. Dominique.
Yes, Irene. In the next 6 minutes, I suggest you put aside your conceptions about theatre. Acte 3, an innovative new Montreal troupe, is about to strip the art from its conventions and superfluities right before your eyes. By cutting on gestures and sets, Acte 3 gives the audience a more important place and a better awareness of what is going on. They'll lead you into the exciting world of the subconscious, remind you of realities often taken for granted, but mostly they'll let you question your own feelings about a play. Don't think you'll do all the work, though. This original approach demands the actor's exceptional body and soul control. You'll see this right away as we take a look at their act. Ladies and gentlemen, here is Acte 3.
bonsoir.
Bonsoir.
Vous êtes les bienvenus.
Bienvenue.
Ce qu'on va vous montrer.
Acte 3 was born in March 1983, of a need for a theater closer to the audience, one that would question its theater habits as well as the actors' role in it. Its founders also wished to make of theater more a feast than a social habit. Acte 3's members, Jean-Maurice Gélina, Catherine Racine, and Rachel Roy, have worked hard to set up their company. 4 productions in the 83-84 season, and as many in 84-85. In just a year, they managed to establish themselves as one of Montreal's most original troupes, staging plays of great interest in odd spaces. Jean Cocteau's The Human Voice in a tourist room, and Peter Handke's offending the audience on a proscenium stage.
Vous avez noté, hein? Vous êtes tous assis en rang d'oignon. Vous êtes un modèle du genre. Bravo. Nous avons plusieurs objectifs. Et
Among our
parmi ceux-là,
objectives, there's a search for economy. It's directly
le travail dans
inspired by
l'économie,
Grotowski's
c'est
Poor Theatre.
directement inspiré du
We
théâtre
train to use the
pauvre
most
de
economical
Grotowski.
gestures in order to signify through one movement
On
the
brille
essence
de
of
la
many.
terre. Un travail aussi qui se fait,
We also work at changing
sur le
the order of
déplacement
theatrical
des
conventions.
conventions théâtrales.
We always choose the playing space very
Pas de
carefully.
facilité,
For example, a tourist room, a greenhouse, or simply a conventional
Je ne me suis
theater,
pas donné comme
to give
idéal
the
de-
audience a more important place.
Notre pensée est d'abord
Our focus
porter
is
sur le
first on the
public afin de
audience in
changer
order
ses
to help it
habitudes
change its
théâtrales.
theater habits.
Suivre le
We want to create a climate of attention for the audience. We want to leave it with the memory of a special event in its life.
Rire comme un homme, tuer des objets comme un homme. Comparer des objets à d'autres. Imaginez des objets.
Dans notre cas, nous, on a commencé
Our
notre
training
entraînement.
includes physical
Ça fait
exercises.
près d'un an qu'on fait
There
ça
is a
pour
part
le
of jogging,
entraînement de
exercises for the
qui
knees,
consiste d'une
ankles,
part,
wrists,
l'entraînement
legs,
physique,
to work out the
c'est-à-dire
whole
pour le
body.
corps.
These
Il y a une
exercises
partie
come in
de
part from
jogging,
Grotowski,
qui est
in
suivie
part
de-
from Stanislavski.
d'une
All these
articulation
great
de tout le
schools
corps.
that brought actors so much. It's a combination of all that we consider excellent for the apprenticeship of actors.
Tout ça, c'est évidemment
This
pour
is
le
obviously
contrôle
for the
du
control of the
contrôle
body
du
on
corps
stage.
sur la scène.
The actor needs to be in control of the situation. This means his or her body and the whole space, the stage and the house.
L'herbe frémira comme un champ d'herbe, et les lapins proliféreront comme des lapins, et les bactéries proliféreront comme des bactéries.
C'est l'équilibre,
Oui.
finalement.
C'est ça. Tout le travail se fait là-dessus.
The acting style of Acte 3 is designed not to depict a reality, but to underline it, to make unaware of realities come to life. This shows different dimensions from those audience are used to see, and leaves them wondering, not about what they saw, but about what they felt. Acte 3's theater is not hermetic. It is a state of perplexity, an adventure into the less secure and often exciting worlds of the subconscious.
Vous aussi, vous étiez prêts à jouer. Et oui, vous suiviez, vous poursuiviez.
Vous participiez à quelque chose qui se déroule ici depuis bien longtemps.
Vous contempliez le passé, qui, dans les dialogues et les monologues, imite le présent.
Vous étiez placé devant le fait accompli.
It's important for us to question the place of the public. I mean, it's not evident that the public will be as passive.
For the actors, theater is a long research to re-understand, after the author, the text. They have to go through all the possible ways of reading the play to get to the less secure, but the optimal in intensity. The first requirement to achieve this is to be there, body and soul in control.
It's for us important to know that he's there and that we put him in that situation.
Acte 3 will use anything to bring the audience to a sharp and better awareness of space, time, and action. This makes the audience part of the
Vous vous trouviez dans un
performance.
espace mort et dans un temps mort.
He's there for us, that's all.
The public knows it's there. It is given a larger place and may even come to intervene during the performance. This puts the actors in an even more dangerous situation. They have to handle that too. But in the end, they have the last word, and the audience expects them to do so. With Acte 3, nobody loses at taking risks.
Nous étions là avant que vous n'arriviez infiniment longtemps avant
Nous
vous.
vivions ici sur la scène, de toute éternité.
Vos regards et nos regards se rencontrèrent dans l'infini.
Un espace infini s'étend.
Nous jouons.
Nous jouons.
Mais nous ne jouons pas avec vous.
I hope you've enjoyed this theatrical experience. It's great to discover that an audience can get much more out of a play than just laughs or tears. With Acte 3, two-way theater is possible and easy. You don't have to learn the lines, you just sit back and keep up with the flow.
Thanks, Dominque. Next, before we take a look at the recording industry, we're going to look at some of the artists who use that medium with Kevin in the Rock Showcase.
Rock Showcase. Today's featured band is a band called Susie Q, not to be mistaken with the local brand of French fries. They're a very progressive Montreal band. Now, they're leaving their mark all over town. I went down to their basement studio to meet them, and what happened was that I had a bit of chat and some fast music, and what you're about to see is what we came away with. So here you go, ladies and gentlemen, Susie Q.
As far as popular music goes, English and German predominate and are continually expanding. Meanwhile, here in Quebec, there are groups that are just dying to be heard. They're hoping that someday the fruits of their labors will pay off and they'll be seen, as is their big brothers from abroad.
And a mustache, you know, the perfect match. He followed me for a long time, hoping that I'll make him mine.
What sort of music do you play?
Yeah. Well, we like to listen to things from other countries. I mean, not USA or not England or France, you know, but like countries, Middle East countries and things like that, and music also from Vietnam, like.
Work, meeting, practices, and repetitions the vocals of these people if they wish to make it. You have some problems, sure, but life's not always rosy. And for people who choose music as a career, that's for sure. But it's easy to forget the pitfalls when you think about all the joys you get from the music. 4 members of Susie Q, how with all opposing ideas do you get along?
Most of the music is done by Daniel, and after that we came in work on what he already done on the tapes and everything. That's quite easy, not...
It goes real well in this band.
Yeah.
It's unreal.
Talent, ambition, and aspirations are the key to success for this group, but for now that's not enough. For now it's going to take a lot of tedious repetitions, a lot of mistakes, and a lot of heart. This group's got a lot of pride and ambition, so maybe one day they'll be there. But for now, let's just help and hope along with the Susie Q.
Well, there you have it, Susie Q, a new and refreshing sound, a big band around Montreal, and they're really on the move. Don't forget to join me next week in the Rock Showcase, but for now, this is Kevin saying stick around because coming up after this is more of Artbeat.
We've all invested into the recording industry at one point or another in our lives. Caroline was fortunate enough to meet one of the men who has a say into what goes into that vinyl.
Well, Irene, to some people he's considered as the record producer. He's Mark Durand, and one music critic has said of him that he has single-handedly put Montreal on the current musical map. His first success was managing and producing the world-renowned band Men Without Hats. Now he's busy with another band, The Box, and the chemistry between him and that group has once again landed them on the record charts with big hits like Walk Away and Dancing on the Grave. Now, one of the things you'll notice when we look at Mark is how he respects the bands that he works with. As a producer, he's not into forcing an image on a band, but would rather spend the time to make sure that their sound is the absolute best that it can be. Just to give you a taste of that sound now, here's The Box with a mini performance they gave us in their Montreal rehearsal hall. What kind of things attract you to a band that you think you might want to produce some of their work?
I don't know, probably creativity, originality, and talent.
Mm-hmm. Those are the three big things?
I would say, yeah. Okay. Because you need those three things to go somewhere. Mm-hmm. You can be very creative, but have not a basic talent to do the thing, and in that case, you're probably going to be very short-lived. And the best thing in this business is to stay around, long enough. There's a lot of people that just come and go, and that's more a pain than anything else.
So you like to represent a band that has a lot of confidence and a lot of experience within itself?
Well, no, that can go far. This business is not very fast. When it happens very fast, but the foreground work is very long. And that's the hard part. Like Men Without Hats, like in Canada, people know that we've been around for a while, but when you arrive in America, they say, oh, it all happened, overnight, which is not the case at all.
Did you stumble upon The Box, or did they come up to you and say that they wanted you to produce an album for them? How did that relationship come about?
Well, let's say that they more than me, were trying to get together. I was too busy with Men Without Hats, and also, they needed more experience. So it was it took some time to get to the point where I got involved to produce the record. I think it's more them that wanted me to be there at some point.
Jean-Marc, what kind of input do you think Mark's producing has had on your current success?
Well, Mark acts as a record company and as producer with us, which means that there's the aspect that people see and the one that people don't see. The one they see is the one they hear on the record, in fact. Mark produces us, so he takes what we give and he tries to enhance it and make it successful as far as standards is concerned. On the other hand, Mark is the one who has the contacts. He's the one who goes around and knows the people who are right to promote a product such as The Box. And this is what makes the success of the band, basically.
About a little back before you started working with Mark, how long does it actually go, the relationship anyway, between the band and Mark Durand?
It goes to about 2 years. As Mark has said, we asked Mark to produce a first tape that we did about 2 years ago, which contained only 2 songs. And we did that together, and everything went quite well. After that, we always kept in touch until the moment where we decided we'd do an album together.
Before the debut album, did The Box go through any member or style changes at all?
Basically, 2.5 years ago, we had a lot of people come and go, but there was always a core in the band that stood all the time, which is Jean-Pierre Brie, Guy Florent, myself, and Luc Papineau. After that, about a year later, my brother Guy joined the band as a keyboardist in order to free me and from the playing on stage and going on singing alone.
We will enter a city, all the same as where I came from. We don't like it just the same. We must always remember. Can't keep looking back. We must always remind me. The goal is out to reach.
That was Must I Always Remember from the Box's debut album entitled none other than The Box. And by the way, Mark Durand told us in our interview that because there's so many exciting new groups just surging out of existence here in Montreal, many people within the music industry are moving back here to explore all the endless possibilities.
That was good music. As a matter of fact, it's nice to see that kind of music coming out of Montreal. I think a lot of groups are becoming a lot more innovative in their approach to music, and it's fun. Thanks, Caroline. That's our show for this week, but as you can see, we're only scratching the surface. So join us again, and we're going to dig a little deeper. And throughout our series, we're going to look into things like breakdancing, the Montreal Opera, a couple of artists around the city, and a lot more. So for everybody here, I'm Irene Arsenault, and this is Artbeat. Have a good day.
Hi, and welcome to Artbeat. I'm Kevin.
And I'm Irene. On today's show, we're going to have a variety of segments. We'll start with a visit to the opera, and then we'll follow that with a blast of culture shock as we turn and look at the ins and outs of breakdancing. Finally, one of our reporters is going to introduce us to Montreal painter Cassia D'Aurelien.
And last but not least, we have our rock showcase. This week's featured band is the band Condition. And stick around, because coming up after this, we have a trip to the opera.
For several years now, Montreal's had its own opera company. Stephanie, I think you know a little bit more about that than I do.
Well, Irene, if even the mention of the word opera makes you uncomfortable, and you really don't know your alto from your aria, well, then you're not alone. But actually, opera is nothing more than passionate drama put to music. Opera singers don't just sing songs, but they portray the joys and sorrows of their characters through the music. It can be as sweet as Cinderella or as juicy as Dallas. So come with us backstage at a rehearsal for the opera Rigoletto, where we'll meet Joseph Rouleau. He tells us about his beginnings as an opera singer, as well as the considerable self-discipline and hard work that goes into each role. Opera is elegant and romantic, and I'm sure you'll enjoy it.
I started singing when I was about 17 or 18. At that time, I was studying for my BA at Brebeuf College in Montreal, with the Jesuits, actually. And while studying for my BA and hoping to go to university, I was studying singing. And I happened to win singing competition in 1949 here in Montreal. And I decided that I would try to be a singer.
Ben felice d'offrirvi la mia stanza. Se a voi piace, tosco a veder l'andiamo.
Well, the voice is something that I think is something that you have by nature, through your parents. You cannot, no magicians and no doctors will ever be able to give you vocal cords, a certain kind of vocal cords, and nobody, no scientist will be able to give the resonance that you need for singing. For example, the chest resonance, the head resonance, and all these things. I mean, this is nature that gives you that. It's what you do with what nature gave you. That is, if you have a certain talent, a vocal talent, you have to work very hard to develop it, because this is the learning of it is scientific. The learning of it is difficult. Nobody will ever realize until he starts studying singing what you have to do to become a singer. I mean, to train your voice, to develop your voice, to make it all the ranges, the low, the medium, and the high range even, to be able to reach for high top notes, to be able to reach for low notes, to control your breath, your support, and to sing pure vowels, to learn languages, to learn the styles of the different operas, to learn acting, etc. There's millions of things that are put together. And this is what you have to do to develop not only the instrument, but to develop your personality, your potential.
It looks like as if you're terribly fighting the whole time. Ça a l'air qu'on fait un combat énorme.
On the theater side of it, because an opera singer is also a comedian, he's an actor. Now, as the most, I think, probably the most difficult thing to achieve, particularly at a younger age when you're an opera singer, is to be able to put together to apply the technique that you've learned singing. I mean, you can sing pretty well in the studio, for example, but once the young singer arrives on stage and he has to sing, he has to be able to follow a conductor with an orchestra of about 80, 85 people. So he's got a certain liberty, but he has a discipline within the music. He cannot do exactly what he wants to do all the time.
It looks like
yeah, well, I'm just staying still. I mean, she's grabbing me.
Once you start studying a role that you've never done before and you are creating a character, let's say Boris Godunov, Tsar of Russia, then you go to a museum or you make research in books, through books on costumes, for example, and you make research on how did that fellow look, you know, because we are trying to repeat history. But through repeating history, through the music, you have to put your own personality into the part. I think it has something for everyone, even my children.
I think you'll agree that opera may never be as popular in Montreal's top 40 music, but being able to transport its audience throughout history or in creating its own special world, opera can be an enthralling experience.
Thanks, Stephanie. We'll be right back after this. Prepare yourselves, because with me now in studio is Nicholas with another segment. Nicholas, dare I ask you about breakdancing?
Well, Irene, contrary to popular belief, Michael Jackson did not invent the moonwalk that he's so well known for. No, the moonwalk is just another move that makes up the style of dance called breaking or electro boogie, and has been going on in the streets of New York City, well, way before Mr. Michael J. ever brought it to network TV. And yes, folks, even before the movie Flashdance. The word breakdancing is not defined in either Webster's or Oxford Dictionary, but sociologists do theorize that breakdancing is a positive response by the youth of New York City to what only might be summed up as rapid urban decay. Well, this may be true, Irene, but then again, how many breakdancing sociologists have you met? Well, yeah, it's just as I thought, not too many. The general consensus in the breakdancing community is that breakdancing is simply fun. Well, for a further definition, we now take you to a breakdance exhibition that took place right here in Montreal at the Palladium just a few months back.
Most of us know that breakdancing is a new kind of performing art, which originally took place in the New York ghettos. When it started, street gangs challenged each other to perform acrobatic feats instead of fighting. Then one day, the television and motion picture industries discovered them, and started spreading pictures of these kids all across America. Today, with the powerful mass media, breakdancing is an international phenomenon. Here in Montreal, the film Flashdance and a couple of rock videos started everything. The response was immediate. In the next 6 minutes, you're going to see this new performing art in full motion here in Montreal. Also, you're going to hear from some of those Montreal breakdancers. Let's start with Clyde Jennings, one of the Montreal breakdancers.
And why did you start breakdancing?
I was going around school, a lot of people were seeing this and that, and they liked it. So eventually, I started seeing it too and started picking up different things.
So you're dancing with your friends?
Yeah.
And what do you expect out of this? You want to continue onto professional things, or you just want to do it as a pastime?
Just as a pastime, a hobby, something to do when there's nothing else to.
And what's your best move?
Well, some people call me quick tick because I know how to tick. All right,
Okay. Next. So you've been breakdancing a long time?
No, not really. I've been breaking for about 4 months now, and I've been dancing for about a year and a half.
And where do you dance?
Oh, at the beginning I used to dance we used to have parties in the park, and I used to dance there. Now I dance with a group, and we do shows
and what's
out
the name
of town.
of the group?
Galactic Crew.
And where have you been doing your shows?
Oh, we do them around Montreal. Once in a while we get a show outside of Montreal.
Have there been any shows that have attracted lots of people?
Yeah, there was a show at the Spectrum about a month ago. It had a pretty good big crowd because the Spectrum can hold about 1,000 people, and it was sold out.
And what do you expect of this? Do you think your group will go somewhere?
Yeah, they're very good.
So you expect to be a professional someday?
Nah.
No?
Nah, this isn't something you look forward to being a professional. It's just really a fad. And I could do it right now and make money because I know how to do it.
You like it as a pastime?
Yeah. I plan to become something a lot more respectable than a breakdancer.
Okay. You've been breakdancing for how long now?
For about a year.
Yeah, and what have you gotten out of breakdancing? What do you feel the most that you like?
What I've gotten out of it, I haven't really gotten anything out of it. I just do it for the fun of it, because I enjoy it, and ever since I was young I've been dancing, so when breakdancing came in, I grew up with it too.
Mm-hmm. And do you think there's any future to breakdancing? Somebody else said it was a fad. You think it's more than a fad?
Well, probably just is a fad just for a few years, because there was other dance is out before, but they were just fads too. So this probably go away in maybe 2 years, probably.
2 years? So you think by then you'll have stopped breakdancing, or do you think you'll still keep it as a good exercise or pastime?
I think I'd stop, but I'll probably be into something new by then, because probably something new would come out.
Or a new type of dance?
Yeah.
Do you think there's any types of dances that will come out, and to what type of music will it be?
I really can't tell what type of music it would be. Maybe punk rock music will be out more in the future.
And what type of music do you like to dance to best now?
Funk.
Funk?
Yeah.
And what are the artists you like the most?
Well, Grandmaster Flash is pretty good. They make a lot of good records I like to dance to and stuff.
Breakdancing at the Palladium, brought to you by Guy and Alexandra Productions. You know, Irene, apart from the head spinning and the electro boogie and all that sort of robot moves, breakdancing is very similar to traditional Ukrainian dance. So much so, folks, that we think we may have found a bridge that will span the gap between Eastern and Western Bloc countries. Yes, in an effort to improve relations between the Soviet Union and Canada, the staff of Artbeat have decided to forward to the Soviet Embassy 100 copies of Grandmaster Flash. Good breaking music. Irene.
Coming from anyone else, Nicholas, I'd be a little worried, but from you, you may have something there.
Well, I hope
Thank you. Stay with us. We're going straight into the Rock Showcase.
What you're about to see is a group called Condition. Now, if you like synthesizer, and more synthesizer, and more synthesizer, this group will sit very well with you. The video reminds me of something like a cross between Rocky Horror Picture Show and Montreal Vignettes. Nevertheless, let's take a look because Condition are quite a band, and the theatrical side of them is quite good too. So let's take a look at Condition. There you have it, Condition, a fun group with a lot of personality, and as I said before, a bit of theater mixed in too. Now don't forget, that's our rock showcase for this week. We'll be back next week, but for now, stay tuned for more of Artbeat coming up right after this.
Dominque?
Monotype is a rhythmical combination of colors and impressions. Cassia D'Aurelien has arrived at this art form after those of painting and engraving, and she feels it offers limitless possibilities. Stuart Hall is a cultural center in Pointe-Claire. One of its features is an art gallery. In this gallery, the center's animators show their work in an annual exhibition. Cassia D'Aurelien is one of them. The moment I mix colors is important to me. It is a sort of interiorization where I ask myself how I truly feel.
C'est une espèce d'intériorisation finalement. Je me demande un petit peu comment je me sens maintenant, où est-ce que j'en suis. C'est comme si les
One
couleurs,
color seems to call for another,
ils s'enchaînent l'une
and
après
seeing the
l'autre,
whole
j'en prépare
palette
une,
really
puis
makes
j'en
me
appelle
want to
une autre,
work.
Puis juste de voir la palette, ça me donne le goût de travailler. Parce que j'ai l'impression que déjà les couleurs, ils se font
The
chanter.
colors sing, and when it looks nice on the palette, chances are final results will be worthwhile.
Je me sers de rouleaux pour travailler. J'ai des rouleaux de différentes largeurs.
I use rollers of various sizes, and that creates interesting rhythms.
Faire des superpositions. Ça permet que j'aime beaucoup les rouleaux parce qu'il y a des choses qui se répètent puis ça crée un rythme que je trouve intéressant.
When I was young, I didn't quite know what to do. First, I went to CEGEP in arts and crafts, and then to university where I specialized in painting.
J'ai continué à l'université en peinture. Mais à l'université,
At university, I worked a lot with fabrics, doing batik and painting on fabrics. Then I did engraving, which brought me to monoprints.
Puis j'ai fait de la gravure. Puis c'est ça qui m'a amené au monotype.
Sometimes when I look at my works, I'm surprised because there's a lot of peace and serenity in what I do. My life appears to be darker. It's astonishing, and I've concluded that possibly there must be some serenity in me which I rediscover when I
Je
paint.
retrouve pas toujours ça dans ma vie. Dans ma vie, c'est comme plus noir, souvent. Puis ça m'étonne. Puis je me dis que il doit y avoir certainement un endroit en moi où il y a ça. Puis quand je dessine, c'est comme si je rejoins cet endroit-là où il y a le calme. Puis je pense qu'il y a dans ma façon de travailler de la spontanéité. Puis,
When I work, I'm spontaneous and enthusiastic, and I believe it shows in my painting. I know that what I have to say may not touch everyone. Many people might look at my work and feel nothing, but one may be touched by it, and that's enough for me.
En même temps, c'est comme de moi, puis je sais que ça rejoint pas nécessairement tout le monde. Il peut y avoir 50 personnes qui voient un de mes dessins, puis que ça leur dit rien, mais peut-être que là-dessus, il va en avoir une que ça va toucher, puis que ça va nourrir d'une certaine façon, puis ça pour moi, c'est suffisant. C'est comme cette personne-là, elle sait que c'est pour elle. Et les premiers gestes, c'est assez rapide avec les rouleaux.
At first, I work rather quickly. Then I rework, adding details. There is always an element of change, and I like that. Sometimes a block of colors makes me think about something else, and the painting develops from there.
Des fois, c'est une tâche qui me fait penser à quelque chose, puis tout le reste du dessin, il se construit autour de ça. Puis je me sers de ce qui est là. Je suis en train de mijoter quelque chose qui pourrait associer différents intérêts que j'ai.
Right now, I'm looking for a way to combine many of my interests. For instance, at the moment, I'm studying how to interpret dreams, and I would like to mix dreams with creativity. I would also like to work with others that have similar interests.
J'aurais le goût de faire quelque chose avec d'autres gens. qui auraient peut-être des intérêts dans le domaine de la création, mais d'autres dans un autre domaine. Là. D'être créateur, souvent,
Being an artist
ça
implies
implique
solitude,
beaucoup de solitude.
and at the moment I would prefer to share
Moi,
my
j'ai le goût
experience with
de
others.
partager avec d'autres qui auraient un peu les mêmes intérêts.
Well, that's our show. Join us again next week. Until then, I'm Irene for Artbeat. Have a nice day.